What's up, everybody? Tom Pelissero here on day 2 of media availability at the NFL Scouting Combine at Lucas Oil Stadium. Leslie Frazier was on the podium today, also had a side session with us. A lot of stuff came out of that. You can read all about it at 1500ESPN.com. The one thing I wanted to focus on was Sidney Rice's future with the team, because I think it's something that a lot of people are curious about. Number one thing is Sidney Rice's health. There's a report today that he's still dealing with an arthritic condition in his hip. He also had a kidney procedure done before training camp last year. Several different factors at play. Leslie Frazier said, though, their doctors have cleared him. They've told the team, no matter what you want to do contract-wise, he's going to be fine. His production was not going to be harmed by the health thing. Don't let that deter you. Now, does that mean that Bryce is going to be 100% healthy? Does it mean that he's necessarily not going to have another surgery? No, we don't know that. But at this point, Frazier made no bones about the fact that he thinks that Sidney Rice is okay physically. Number two is, what is the contract going to be worth? Frazier revealed today that the Vikings have extended a contract offer and have continued conversations with Rice's agent, Drew Rosenhaus. I caught up, Judd Zelgad and I caught up with Drew Rosenhaus over at the agent meeting this morning. He wouldn't comment on the issue, which is a little like Rosenhaus in some of his past negotiations. I would expect to hear from him somewhere down the line, though, if the contract offer and the negotiations don't go the direction that they want. It will be interesting to see what would be the reaction if the Vikings attempt to tender Sidney Rice as a restricted free agent. Now, we don't know what the next collective bargaining agreement is going to set in terms of how many years service is necessary to get unrestricted free agency. In past years, under the last CBA, it was 4 years. There's been discussions about it being 5, and the uncapped year was 6. One theory I heard from an NFL executive recently is that it'll be 5 years and that they'll also wipe out restricted free agency. We don't know exactly how that's going to play out, but you've already heard reports from around the NFL about teams beginning to extend restricted tender offers to guys with 4 years experience in the hope or the assumption that those guys are probably going to be restricted. Now, even at a high restricted tender, that's a lot less money than what Sidney Rice would be getting if he were to sign a long-term deal. So does Sidney Rice once again hold himself out throughout the summer? Not that last year was necessarily related to his contract situation, but does he once again refuse to show up? Does he refuse to participate if they get the restricted tender offer? The third thing that's tied into this is Bernard Berrien's future. Berrien is another Rosenhaus client. Berrien's due $4 million next season, $3.9 million in base salary, $100,000 workout bonus. Does Drew Rosenhaus say, listen, we don't like the tender offer we're getting. We're going to wait until Rice is ready, or excuse me, until Rice feels that he's gotten the offer that he deserves. So in the meantime, you better not release Bernard Berrien as much as his production hasn't added up to his salary. I had one scout tell me last year flat out Bernard Berrien can't play anymore. We'll see if he's able to get anything back. But you look at his numbers, he's a vertical speed threat receiver who's 29 years old and no longer has that vertical speed. I don't think Berrien has a future in the NFL at this point. Unless there's some sort of fountain of youth that he's able to find, I think he's gone. But again, this is all tied together with Sidney Rice's future because they have Percy Harvin, they have Greg Camarillo, who didn't really fit in last year, and that's really it at the receiver position in terms of guys with experience. It'll be really interesting to see how that plays out, as well as all the rest of the Vikings' four-year guys. How do the Vikings approach those? Are they tendering guys? Are they making other sorts of offers? We're going to see what ends up happening with that. They were meeting today, I was told by a source. Ben Lieber and Brian Robinson's agent was meeting with the Vikings today. We'll see what comes of those discussions. Lieber is probably going to test the free agent waters. Robinson, though, may take that one-year tender offer while it's there. Back with more tomorrow. See you.